It started not very long after what I call my personal Big Bang, which was my birth. And I must have been like 4 or 5 years old, being the fifth of 5 siblings. My parents educated people. My father ran a shipping company, and he was a very educated man, and he was a very successful man. And he was, on the surface, for all the people he talked to and he made business to, he was a positive man. But at home, very, very close to the surface, he was a sad man. He was a depressive man. He was anxious. He was afraid of failure. And all of this had a somehow, for me as a little guy, a somehow threatening perspective to it. I didn't know how to handle it. And I found out how to handle it. And by making little jokes and teasing him on a very naive way, of course, I somehow got a smile on his face. And by repeating all of this, I realized that I would get his appreciation, his love, his attention by making fun. And so it happened that I became his favorite child, which has an upside, obviously, and I very much still appreciate its upside. But it definitely also has a downside. And the downside was that I had an orientation towards my father to see him happy. I myself had the feeling I need to do everything to make him happy. And this is the beginning of many stories of performers in later life. The orientation goes outwards to the outer world, to the appreciation of others, because they are performers, they are achievers. And so it happened in my life. I saw that making my father happy, and if you really widen this perspective a little bit, make society happy, I need to be a performer, an achiever. And this I did. I did it when I was a child, I did it when I was a youth, I did it when studying. I was a performer and an achiever. I had a career at the university. I worked with a later Nobel Prize laureate in Seattle. And all of this happened because I had the feeling I need to perform pretty well. And some time when I was in Seattle, I had a meeting with a physicist who changed my mind, and I can go into this a little bit deeper at another occasion. But this physicist, he started me doubting that a career is really the thing that would make me happy in the long run. So my first doubts set in there. And when I came back to my home university, I was leading a department, and I had a real nice career in front of me, but I didn't want to follow this career anymore. So from outside, all of a sudden I decided to become a GP, a general practitioner in my own office. And there I learned to look at disease and health from a widened perspective. And this widened perspective included the addition to the university, the scientific medicine, the addition of holistic aspects to health and disease. And then I developed further And I asked myself, where does health come from? And where does disease come from? What's the initial cause, if you wish? And I decided it must all start between the ears. It must start in the mind. And through my connections to the United States and then within the United States to the coaching industry, I met Bob Proctor, who was or still is a very famous coach in the United States, coaching many, many famous people. And I became his student. And the first question that he asked me, and I was absolutely, completely unprepared for this question, was, who do you want to be in 5 years? And out of nothing, without even having a single thought, it came out of me spontaneously. I'm going to be the most joyful person I know. And this became true, although I had my own office as a GP. I had a family with 4 children, and I was not a very wealthy man at the time, and Bob Proctor was certainly not cheap. But I still managed to get it done. I got my wife's, I got somehow her agreement to this. And so it went on. And basically, the benefit of it all is that I became this person that I said I would become. And this is something that is so mind-blowing if you really experience that kind of a transformation in yourself. This is so mind-blowing that I have the kind of the urge, if you wish, or at least I have a strong will, somehow to give it back, somehow to give it to people who do not have this opportunity, who did not have all these encounters in their lives that are so beautiful in my life. So I want to give it back, or I want to hand it over to other people to enjoy such a nice life that I am enjoying. And my colleagues, my medical colleagues, doctors, all people in medical professions, they all deserve to be joyful in their jobs. And if they are joyful in their jobs, they are the best versions of themselves, and they're the best doctors they can ever possibly be.